Good morning, everyone. So already we have completed chapter 1. So today we are going to start new chapter, that is financing. Before starting this chapter, I'd like to discuss something about finance, that what is finance? In everywhere, whether that is business, your house, your plan, anything, wherever you will go, wherever you will work, you need finance. Like for our life, what is important? For our life, blood is important for survival, because without blood, we cannot survive. Likewise, finance is what? Finance is the lifeblood of the business. Business also cannot survive without finance. Finance is one of the essential element of the business that is essential for their survival. In very basic term, we can understand these things. Now, see, this is the second chapter. First chapter we have completed, that was business environment. I think you all have gone through that with the PDF and all and the videos. So the next part is financing. In that, the first is business finance. Some of the times the question may be asked in the form of business finance, that what is business finance, or sometimes it will be asked like what does finance mean, which is required for the company, which is required for the organization or for the business enterprises. So this finance is what? Business, like it is the acquisition, it is the acquisition and utilization of funds required for the financial need to meet the objective of the organization. This is what the meaning of the business finance. It is a acquisition and utilization. So what is this acquisition? Means acquiring. Whenever you are going to start any of the business forms, whether that is sole trading, partnership or company, we have studied in class 11 that what is sole trading, what is partnership and what is companies. So we will not discuss a lot on that. Our main topic is this, that how to acquire that one, how to get that one. Acquire means, or also we can say like to purchase, or arrangement also we can say acquisition, and then utilization of those funds. Suppose you are having fund but you don't know how to utilize it properly, that is also very important for the business finance. Otherwise, the overcapitalization situation may arise, the undercapitalization situation may arise. So it's very important that how are you going to utilize this one. This is what the acquisition and the utilization of funds required for what? For the financial need. And why that financial need is important? To meet the objective of the organization. And what is the objective? Objective is to production of the product which is required, which is in the demand, to meet the demand, for proper supply chain, to make the payment of your employees, of your staffs, remunerations. So many various of the things are there that we can discuss over this. Now we will go according to the syllabus. So the first part is meaning of business finance, which is very much clear to you. Now we will go to the next part, that is features of business finance. Features or nature of business finance. feature, nature or characteristics. Feature, nature or characteristics of business finance. First part is this, that business finance is what? Like, it may be consist of the long term funds also and short term funds also. Long term funds, because sometimes business require funds for what purpose? Like for the working capital. So to meet the operations, day to day operations. So it is the combination of various types of funds. This is one of the important feature of this, various types of funds. These funds may be long-term funds too and short-term funds too. Long-term funds like fixed capital will be there, and short-term funds like working capital will be there. We will discuss in detail over these 2 points. We will go to the next part. Another one, if any organization will have the proper sound finance, then they can plan for the different various purposes to meet their objectives. That is sound finance. Right? Next part, it is a wide term. It is very wide term. It's not of the shorter term. Business finance is wider in nature. Is wider in nature. Why it is wider? Because the sources are so many. The sources may be so many, depends on the business enterprises. Generally, we talk about the uh, companies. So companies have various sources, long-term sources, short-term sources. In that also, the details are there, borrowed funds are there, own funds are there. So the various natures are there. All these things are very, very important. Now, business finance also required in all type of business. The last one you can say, it is required. As in the definition, in the meaning we have written, it is the acquisition and utilization of funds required for the various financial needs. So, it is required in all types of business. Right? So this was the second part, that is the nature of business finance. Now we will go to the next part, that is importance of business finance. Nature and importance. Sometimes you need some of the points will be very similar to each other. You don't need to worry about that. Even if you are writing those points also in the nature or in the importance, that will be the correct one. But as we have to do, so we need to understand that what is the importance of business finance, and it's very easy also to understand. It's not so tough thing that you need to put extra effort for that one. Importance of finance. Before starting of this chapter, what I told, like for the human being, what is required? Blood is required for their survival. As like saying, the finance is required for the survival of the business. This is the very first thing that you have to write there. Okay. Now, the first thing, why finance is required? Why it is important? To acquire assets. To acquire assets. Assets may be land and building, assets may be plant and machinery, assets may be the new technologies to meet the demand. All these things will come under that. So to acquire assets. Second, important to meet their liabilities or obligations. I'm not writing, but liabilities or obligations. Suppose you have, I have taken loan for my companies, for my business. So I need to pay that, and different various installment credit systems are there. So from where will I pay if the finance will not be there? So that is also important to meet the liabilities. Not only loan, like some parties are there, some creditors are there to whom I have to make the payment. So from where I will pay? From this part, from finance. Okay, next. If you will have the proper finance, then you can expand the business. So for expansion purpose, to expand or for expansion purpose of the business. All I've heard about Tata company, they have started their business with one company, that is Tata Steel. But today we can see the number of related companies with the Tatas, like Tata Tanishq is there, Tata Titan I Plus is there, Tata Motors are there, Tata Steel already it's there. Other than that, FMCG products are there. So various things they have, they are related with the Tata company. They have started with only one company, but today the various number of companies are there. If we can talk about a different company like Wipro is there. So Wipro, you all have heard about Dalda or the vegetable oil. Wipro has started with that one. And now today we can see that Wipro is one of the leading IT sectors after this Infosys. So this is also some things for expansion purpose. Finance is very, very important. Next, for goodwill. For goodwill. To explain this, I'd like to put one small example. Suppose you are the new company and with you, Reliance has also come with you. So many petrol pumps are there. But when Reliance come into existence, people would not need to worried about that which company is this, how the oil it will be and all. Why? You know why? Because of their goodwill. And they are very sound companies. They all are well, Reliance is well renowned company. Everybody knows about that. Even rather than the other petrol pumps, people started preferring to the Reliance pumps because of their goodwill. The goodwill is very important asset of any of the company, very important. And how this asset has been formed? Because of the proper sound financial management. Okay, so this is also one important factors. Likewise, so many things may be there. And for smooth functioning at last, for smooth functioning. Before this, more I will focus on this point, that is goodwill. Like, suppose you are going to invest, you are the investor and you are going to invest in any of the company. So will you invest directly, or before investing you will try to investigate their profit and loss, their balance sheet, you will find out their retained earning, you will find out their reserves, that what are the reserves with that company, so that you will be at the minimum risk. So that is also what, that it's a mirror. Sound finance will be the mirror for the outsiders. For the outsiders. That is what it is related with the goodwill. It will create the market, the people, customers to you, the investors, banks. So many outsiders are there, creditors, daters are there. So these are the things. And last, for smooth functioning. If we will have the proper fun, like now the lockdowns are going on, is our life is going properly? No, we're struggling. Not only we, all the companies, all the schools, all the industries, but still for some time we can manage it till the time we have the finance. As the finance is going from our hand, for for expenditures, for meeting our day-to-day expenses. Likewise, companies is also giving their salaries to the staffs, but they are cutting 10%, 15%. One of my colleague is there who got 10% deduction in their salary. Likewise, this is what, that because of the lacking of the finance, the smooth functioning will not go. Because ultimately, company is working on what? On the profit part. And if that profit part will not be there, then how it is possible for the smooth functioning of the company? It's not possible. Like, as like same for any of the business firm, the same rule applies there. That is what the for smooth functioning. So we can see all these importance of finance, that how it is important, right? Now the next topic after importance, what are the topics that we have covered? First of all, meaning we have done, meaning of business finance. What is meaning of business finance? And then next we have started their nature, and we have discussed about the importance too. As we will go through the syllabus, we will see that these points are there. So the next topic is sources of different type of business or different type of organization. Sources of finance or funds to the different types of businesses. First, sole trading. Now, sole trading is also known as single ownership business. It is also known as single proprietorship. All the various names are there. Any of the names may come. Second, partnership. And third, company. We have studied in class 11 about all these, but here also we have to know about these things in short. And definitely from these three, whether from sole trading or partnership or company, 2 marks question is going to come. If last year or this year this partnership has come or sole trading has come, so definitely this one will come. In these three, one will come. This is quite sure. So what is this? Sole trading. It means the funds, how they arrange their funds. And business finance is what? Acquisition and utilization of funds. So utilization is the second part, but the first part is what? Acquisition of funds. So in sole trading, how they will acquire their fund? Only through one source. They have only one source, and that is what? That is the owner of the business himself. If he will not able to manage the funds, then it's very difficult for them to arrange the funds for the sole traders. For sole trader, they are having the limited source of funds, and up to some extent they can take help of their families members or their friends too. That is, but all will be related with the owners only, because nobody is there to plan out, to execute, or to do anything for that. So this is clear, first point. Now the second part that we will go, that is partnership. So partnership, that is more than, and definitely their extent, their scope, their area, their dimensions is more than that of the partnership. So their requirement will also be more than that of the first one, that is sole trading. In sole trading, the sources of the finance was only one owner is there. But here partnership, as in class 11 we have studied in detail that how many the number of partners, the minimum number of partners, maximum number of partners in all different types of funds. So partnership minimum are two, so more than one is it is there. So the first of all, the sources of finance are there, their partners first, and second is retained profit or retained earning. Retained profit. Okay, so what is this retained profit? In chapter 3rd, we will read in detail that what is plowing back a profit or retained profit. But just to explain here, that every year some part of the profit will be left with the partnership firm, and they are just keeping it with them for the sources of finance to meet the different requirements of the companies. Now, next part is company. The company's biggest source of finance is what? That is what? The public issue for the public companies, and for the privately they issue the equity shares, and for the public companies, public at large, they issue the equity shares, and that is what the sources of the companies, which is one of the important sources. Other than this, own funds are there, borrowed funds are there, borrowed funds like debentures are there, loans are there, funds from the commercial banks are there, loans from commercial banks are there, then retained earnings are there. All these things are there, which is for the different types of business organizations. I think this is also clear to you. Sole trading, sources of finance for the different types of business. First, we have discussed about sole trading. Second, that is, we have discussed about partnership, and the third one is company. So this topic is also clear to you. It's very important that whatever the points we are discussing, you need to revise it properly. Otherwise, the things will not get clear to you. Now, the next part we have to start, that is financial planning. Financial planning. Suppose you don't know the meaning of this financial planning, but still you have to write on this. Yes, of course you can write. You have to put little effort on this one. What is this? Financial planning. Suppose your father is there in your home, right? And he is the only source person who can earn for your family, who is taking care of all the expenses and all. He is having all the responsibilities. So he is the manager of that of your family. Likewise, in the finance too, the finance managers are theirs, the promoters are theirs to plan about the business operation, how they are going to acquire the funds, first point, then how they are going to utilize it, second point, and the third is how they are going to meet the objectives of the plan. What 3 points I told? Financial planning includes 3 main points. Listen it carefully. First one is acquisition. Or arrangement. Second, utilization. And third is meeting objective. Right? Now, acquisition we have discussed in the business finance or arrangement, but still we will discuss about this one. That in planning is what? Before doing action, we plan out that how are we going to arrange the funds, what will be the different or the various sources. It depends on the various types of business, that what kind of business we are having. On that basis only we cannot plan like a company, we cannot plan like a partnership, we cannot plan like a sole trader. It depends that what kind of business we are having, right? So suppose I'm the promoter of the company, then I'll plan for the equity shares, I'll plan for the issuing of the equity shares, I'll plan to take the loans from commercial banks, I'll plan that how to take loans from the debentures, all these, the funds from the debentures. But in case of sole trading, this will be completely different. Their personal sources will be there for the owners or from the relatives. Likewise, in the partnership too, I think you have understood these points. So the next is utilization. It means now you are having the fund, but the plan is this: how to utilize these funds. What amount of fund should be invested in the first stage? What amount of the fund should be invested in the second stage? Suppose any power company is going to set up, so that is of the 1,000 crore or 2,000 crore. So first 1,000 crore will be invested. So how to utilize that? All these parts comes to that. And the last is meeting objective. It means ultimate goal is what? For any business, that is not for the social service, that is there to earn the profit, right? But along with that, some objectives are also there, like to meet with the production, like payment or remuneration of the employees, meeting salaries, meeting of the liabilities. So many things are there that will come under that. And along with that, along with the earning profit, some part of the retained profit will also be there. Some reserves and surplus should be there. All these things will come under that. This is what the meaning of financial planning, right? You can write it like the financial planning is the acquisition and arrangement of the funds, and along with that utilization of funds, and also how the funds is going to be utilized to meet their objectives. This is the financial plan, right everyone? Now the next part is importance of financial planning. Importance. Yes, it is very important. If the sound financial plan will not be there, then you may get stuck in between the operation of the businesses, and you cannot find out the way that how to come out, how to meet the liability, because business is full of risk. Business is full of risk. Sometimes the favorable conditions are there, and sometimes unfavorable conditions will come. So it's very important that how are we going to plan our financial plan, our finance, so that we can meet the unforeseen conditions, the contingencies. The best example is going on COVID-19, which is the unforeseen conditions. We were not planned about this one, but we have to plan for the contingencies, for the conditions which is not favorable. So the companies who have planned already to meet these circumstances, for them the functioning will not affected a lot. But the companies or the businesses who have not planned to meet these circumstances, definitely they are in problem. They are not able to meet their uh, basic requirements of their organization, like remuneration of their employees, meeting of the general expenses, meeting of the working capitals, making of the operating expenses which is required, payment of the rents which is fixed, whether you are earning or not, but the owners will charge on you. That is what the fixed one. So that's why the sound financial plan is very, very important. Next part, if importance we will do, a proper financial plan will be there. We can plan for the expansion. We can plan for the new businesses too, along with the existing one. Next, we can able to meet, or we can able to compete with our competitors with the new technologies. Today, survival in the business is very, very important. But along with that, you need to spend some part of money on the various activities too, on the new technologies too. So that is what the meeting of the requirements. So all these things we can see that it's very important of the proper financial plan. Okay, so thank you everyone. Again we will come with the different topics. The next topics we will come